Fame and fortune often come with a darker side, as the glittering world of Hollywood hides its share of shocking controversies. Behind the glamour, some stars face personal demons and devastating decisions that lead to legal troubles. Here, we uncover 25 actors who, as of 2025, are currently serving time, their stories reflecting the harsh realities behind the fame. Harvey Weinstein was once one of Hollywood's most powerful producers, co-founding Miramax Films and producing award-winning movies like Pulp Fiction and Shakespeare in Love. His influence in the film industry was unmatched, with countless actors and directors crediting him for their careers. However, his reputation as a kingmaker unraveled in 2017 when dozens of women came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct. These revelations ignited the #MeToo movement, transforming the conversation around power dynamics and abuse in the workplace. In 2020, Weinstein was convicted of rape and sexual assault against 2 women. The trial included testimony from multiple accusers, painting the disturbing picture of decades-long predatory behavior. Weinstein maintained his innocence throughout, but the evidence was damning. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison in New York and has faced additional charges in Los Angeles. Currently incarcerated at the Wend Correctional Facility, Weinstein's health has reportedly deteriorated, leading to multiple hospitalizations. Public reaction to his conviction was largely one of relief and justice, with many praising the bravery of his accusers. However, Weinstein's fall from grace serves as a stark reminder of the abuses that can occur in positions of unchecked power. His name, once synonymous with success, is now irrevocably tied to scandal and systemic change in Hollywood. Danny Masterson, best known for his role as Stephen Hyde on That 70s Show, was once a beloved sitcom star with a successful career in television. He also appeared in several films and was known for his connections to the Church of Scientology. However, his career took a dark turn when allegations of sexual assault surfaced, leading to his eventual conviction in 2023. Masterson was accused by multiple women of raping them in the early 2000s, with the incidents occurring at his home. The case was highly publicized and controversial, partly because of allegations that Scientology leaders attempted to cover up the crimes and discourage victims from coming forward. During his trial, Masterson maintained his innocence, claiming the encounters were consensual. After deliberation, the jury found Masterson guilty of 2 counts of rape, while a 3rd charge resulted in a hung jury. He was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison, a ruling that drew both relief from survivors and outrage from his supporters. Currently serving his sentence in a California prison, Masterson's case has sparked significant discussions about accountability and the intersection of fame and justice. His once promising career is now overshadowed by the crimes he committed and the pain he caused his victims. Zachary Ty Bryan rose to fame in the 1990s as Brad Taylor, the eldest son on the hit sitcom Home Improvement. Known for his boyish charm and comedic timing, he was a household name during the show's run. However, after stepping away from the limelight, Bryan struggled to maintain his career and faced a series of personal and legal troubles. In recent years, Bryan has been arrested multiple times for domestic violence. His first high-profile arrest occurred in 2020 when he was accused of assaulting his girlfriend. Although he pleaded guilty to lesser charges, the incident tarnished his reputation. Despite attempts to move on, Bryan found himself in legal trouble again in 2025. This time, the allegations were even more severe, involving repeated physical abuse against his partner. Bryan was convicted and sentenced to prison for domestic violence, with the court citing a pattern of abusive behavior. The once popular actor has now become a symbol of the dangers of unaddressed personal issues and the devastating impact they can have on others. Public reaction to his downfall has been largely negative, with many expressing disappointment in how far he has fallen since his days as a beloved sitcom star. Joe Exotic, born Joseph Maldonado Passage, became a cultural phenomenon following the release of Netflix's Tiger King in 2020. The eccentric zookeeper captivated audiences with his flamboyant personality, controversial private zoo, and long-standing feud with animal rights activist Carole Baskin. Despite his fame, Exotic's story took a dark turn, leading to his imprisonment on charges of murder for hire and wildlife violations. In 2019, Exotic was convicted of hiring hitmen to kill Baskin, his vocal critic, who had campaigned to shut down his zoo due to allegations of animal mistreatment. Prosecutors presented evidence that Exotic paid individuals to carry out the murder, although the plot was never executed. Alongside the murder-for-hire charges, Exotic was found guilty of numerous wildlife violations, including killing endangered tigers and illegally selling cubs. Exotic was sentenced to 21 years in federal prison, where he continues to serve his time. Despite his incarceration, he has maintained his innocence, often claiming he was framed by business rivals and government corruption. Public opinion on Exotic remains divided, with some viewing him as a victim of circumstance, while others see him as a dangerous individual. His case continues to raise awareness about the unethical treatment of exotic animals and the dark side of the wildlife trade. Todd Kresley, the star of the reality TV series Kresley Knows Best, built his public image as a wealthy and flamboyant family man with a flair for over-the-top humor. The show, which debuted in 2014, showcased the extravagant lifestyle of Kresley and his family, making them household names. However, behind the scenes, financial troubles were brewing, eventually leading to legal consequences that tarnished his reputation. In 2022, Kresley and his wife, Julie, were convicted of bank fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. Prosecutors revealed that the couple had submitted false documents to secure over $30 million in fraudulent loans and failed to pay taxes for several years. Despite their claims of innocence, the evidence against them was overwhelming. In 2023, Todd Kresley was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison, while Julie received a 7-year sentence. The convictions shocked fans, many of whom struggled to reconcile the family's wholesome TV persona with their crimes. Now serving his sentence, Kresley remains a polarizing figure, with some supporters advocating for his release and others condemning his actions. His downfall serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and the risks of living beyond one's means. Michael Jace, best known for his role as Officer Julian Lowe on the acclaimed TV series The Shield, had a promising career in Hollywood with appearances in films like Forrest Gump and Boogie Nights. However, his acting success was overshadowed by a horrifying crime that shocked fans and the entertainment industry. In May 2014, Jace was arrested for the murder of his wife, April Jace, in their Los Angeles home. During an argument, Michael shot April multiple times in front of their 2 young children. Court testimony revealed that the killing was premeditated, with Michael taunting April before pulling the trigger. Neighbors reported hearing gunshots and children screaming, and Jace himself called 911 to confess to the crime. At trial, prosecutors highlighted Jace's history of financial struggles and controlling behavior, painting a picture of a man whose personal life was spiraling out of control. In 2016, he was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. The case deeply saddened many who had admired his work, and it sparked conversations about domestic violence and its devastating impact. Today, Jace remains incarcerated, with his career and public image permanently tarnished by his heinous actions. Oscar Pistorius, the celebrated South African Paralympian, was once known as the Blade Runner for competing in both Paralympic and Olympic Games using prosthetic legs. His athletic achievements and inspirational story made him a global icon, earning admiration worldwide. However, his fall from grace came in 2013 when he was charged with the murder of his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. On Valentine's Day 2013, Pistorius shot Reeva through the locked bathroom door of his home, claiming he mistook her for an intruder. The incident shocked South Africa and the world, with many questioning Pistorius' explanation. During his trial, prosecutors argued that the shooting was deliberate, pointing to evidence of prior arguments and Reeva's defensive injuries. In 2014, Pistorius was initially convicted of culpable homicide and sentenced to 5 years. However, the verdict was later appealed and upgraded to murder in 2015, with his sentence extended to 6 years. After further legal challenges, Pistorius' sentence was increased to 13 years and 5 months in 2017. Currently serving his time in a South African prison, Pistorius's story remains a cautionary tale of how personal flaws can overshadow even the greatest achievements. The murder of Reeva Steenkamp continues to spark conversations about gender-based violence and justice. Jussie Smollett, known for his role as Jamalayan on the hit TV series Empire, was once celebrated as a talented actor and advocate for LGBTQ+ rights. His career took a dramatic nosedive in 2019 after an incident that became one of the most talked about controversies in recent history. In January 2019, Smollett reported being the victim of a hate crime in Chicago, claiming two masked men attacked him, used racial and homophobic slurs, poured bleach on him, and tied a noose around his neck. The news shocked the nation and drew widespread sympathy. However, police investigations quickly revealed inconsistencies in Smollett's account. Authorities accused him of orchestrating the attack, alleging he hired two acquaintances to stage the assault as a publicity stunt. In December 2021, Smollett was convicted on 5 counts of felony disorderly conduct for filing false police reports. The judge sentenced him to 150 days in jail, 30 months of probation, and restitution to the city of Chicago. Smollett maintained his innocence throughout, claiming the allegations were false. Public reaction to Smollett's case was polarizing, with some supporting him while others expressed outrage. The incident left a lasting stain on his career, overshadowing his achievements and raising concerns about the misuse of social justice narratives. R. Kelly, the Grammy-winning R&B artist behind hits like Ignition and I Believe I Can Fly, was once celebrated as a musical genius. However, his career and public image were irreparably damaged when years of allegations of sexual abuse and misconduct culminated in a criminal conviction. In 2021, Kelly was found guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking in a federal trial that revealed the depth of his predatory behavior. Prosecutors presented evidence that Kelly had used his fame and influence to exploit young women and underage girls, often grooming them with promises of mentorship before subjecting them to abuse. Witnesses detailed how Kelly controlled every aspect of their lives, using psychological manipulation and threats to maintain his power over them. In 2022, Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison for his crimes, and additional charges in separate jurisdictions further solidified his fate. Public reaction to his conviction was a mix of relief and outrage, as many felt justice was long overdue given decades of accusations. Currently incarcerated, Kelly continues to deny the charges, but his legacy as one of the greatest R&B artists is now overshadowed by his crimes. His case serves as a stark reminder of the need to hold powerful figures accountable for their actions. Suge Knight, the former CEO of Death Row Records, was once one of the most powerful figures in the music industry, credited with launching the careers of rap legends like Tupac Shakur, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg. His larger-than-life persona and reputation for intimidation made him a dominant force in hip-hop during the 1990s. However, his career and public image were marred by legal troubles and allegations of violence. In 2015, Knight's downfall reached its peak when he was involved in a fatal hit-and-run outside a burger stand in Compton, California. The incident occurred during the filming of the Straight Outta Compton biopic, where an argument escalated between Knight and others on set. Knight ran over 2 men with his truck, killing Terry Carter and injuring Clell Sloan. He claimed he acted in self-defense, but surveillance footage and witness accounts painted a different picture. In 2018, Knight pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 28 years in prison. The case was a grim end to a career once synonymous with the golden age of West Coast rap. Now serving time in a California prison, Knight's legacy is overshadowed by his violent history, a cautionary tale of power and unchecked aggression. Russell Neal, a former member of the 1990s R&B group Hi-Five, is remembered for hits like I Like the Way, The Kissing Game. Once enjoying fame as part of a chart-topping group, Neal's name became associated with a shocking crime that stunned fans and the music industry. In July 2014, Neal walked into a Texas sheriff's office and calmly told authorities that his wife, Catherine Martinez, was dead at their Houston home. Police discovered her body, severely beaten and stabbed, in their apartment. Neal was promptly arrested and charged with her murder. Catherine, a 24-year-old aspiring model and mother of 2 young sons, was remembered by loved ones for her vibrant spirit and dedication to her family. During the investigation, Neal displayed erratic behavior, refusing to cooperate with authorities. He later claimed he was incompetent to stand trial, citing mental health issues. This prolonged the legal process, with Neal being evaluated and ultimately confined to a mental health facility instead of prison. The case left Catherine's family devastated and her children orphaned. Neal's actions erased his musical legacy, leaving him remembered more for his heinous crime than his contributions to R&B. His story remains a chilling example of how fame cannot shield someone from the consequences of violent acts. Felicity Huffman, an acclaimed actress known for her roles in Desperate Housewives and Transamerica, was once celebrated for her talent and poise. However, her involvement in the 2019 college admissions scandal tarnished her reputation and made headlines worldwide. Huffman was among dozens of wealthy parents accused of using bribery to secure spots for their children at prestigious universities. In Huffman's case, she admitted to paying $15,000 to have her daughter's SAT scores fraudulently boosted. She worked with William Rick Singer, the mastermind behind the operation, who facilitated cheating on standardized tests for numerous clients. Huffman's actions sparked outrage, as the scandal highlighted systemic inequities in higher education access. During her court appearance, Huffman expressed deep remorse for her actions, stating that she had betrayed her daughter's trust and undermined values she claimed to hold dear. The court sentenced her to 14 days in jail, along with a $30,000 fine, 250 hours of community service, and a year of supervised release. Huffman served her sentence at a low-security federal facility and has since attempted to rebuild her career and public image. While the scandal cast a shadow over her legacy, her quick admission of guilt and apology contrasted with others involved, earning her some measure of public forgiveness. Lori Loughlin, best known for her role as Aunt Becky on the beloved sitcom Full House, faced a dramatic fall from grace when she was implicated in the 2019 college admissions bribery scandal. Alongside her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, Loughlin was accused of paying $500,000 to secure their daughter's admissions to the University of Southern California, USC, under false pretenses. The scheme involved fabricating athletic profiles to present them as crew team recruits, even though neither participated in the sport. Initially, Loughlin and Giannulli maintained their innocence, which led to a drawn-out legal battle. However, mounting evidence, including emails and financial records, made their defense untenable. In 2020, Loughlin reversed her plea and admitted guilt. She was sentenced to 2 months in federal prison, along with a $150,000 fine, 100 hours of community service, and 2 years of supervised release. Loughlin served her time at a low-security federal facility and was released in December 2020. Public reaction to her involvement in the scandal was mixed, with many criticizing her for using wealth and privilege to manipulate the college admissions process. Since her release, Loughlin has largely stayed out of the spotlight, focusing on rebuilding her family life and cautiously navigating a path back into acting. Phil Spector, the legendary music producer behind The Wall of Sound and hits like Be My Baby and You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin', was once hailed as a revolutionary figure in the music industry. However, his genius was overshadowed by his volatile behavior and a shocking murder conviction that marred his legacy. In 2003, actress Lana Clarkson was found dead in Spector's Alhambra, California, mansion from a gunshot wound. Spector claimed the death was accidental, but investigators uncovered a pattern of threatening behavior, particularly toward women. Prosecutors argued that Spector, known for his erratic and abusive tendencies, had shot Clarkson during an argument. The case captivated the public, with Spector's eccentric courtroom appearances and unusual wigs drawing as much attention as the testimony. In 2009, after a lengthy trial and retrial, Spector was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 19 years to life in prison. Spector remained incarcerated until his death in 2021 from COVID-19 complications. While his contributions to music are undeniable, his violent actions and conviction have left an indelible stain on his reputation. Today, Spector is remembered not only as a musical innovator, but also as a cautionary tale of how personal demons can destroy even the most storied careers. Bill Cosby, once revered as America's dad for his role on The Cosby Show, saw his legacy crumble amid numerous allegations of sexual misconduct. Accusations against Cosby surfaced as early as the mid-2000s, but it wasn't until the 2010s that a wave of women came forward, alleging drug-facilitated sexual assaults spanning decades. In 2018, Cosby was convicted of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant in 2004. The trial marked a significant moment in the #MeToo movement, as Cosby became one of the first high-profile figures convicted in its wake. He was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison. However, in 2021, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his conviction, citing violations of his due process rights. The court found that Cosby had been assured immunity from prosecution by a prior district attorney, making the trial unfair. His release sparked widespread debate, with some celebrating the legal decision and others lamenting what they saw as a failure of justice for his accusers. Cosby has since expressed plans to return to comedy and maintain his innocence, but his reputation remains irreparably damaged. The case remains a landmark in discussions about accountability, power, and the complexities of the legal system. Robert Blake, a prominent actor best known for his role in Baretta and his chilling portrayal in Cold Blood, was a respected figure in Hollywood before his personal life took a shocking turn. In 2001, his wife, Bonnie Lee Bakley, was found shot to death in Blake's car outside a Los Angeles restaurant. The incident quickly escalated into one of the most high-profile criminal cases of the early 2000s. Blake, who had married Bakley under contentious circumstances, claimed innocence, stating he had returned to the restaurant to retrieve a gun he had left inside and found her dead upon his return. However, investigators alleged Blake had solicited multiple individuals to kill Bakley and had ultimately carried out the crime himself. Blake was charged with murder, but his criminal trial in 2005 ended in acquittal due to insufficient evidence. Many were stunned by the verdict, as testimony and circumstantial evidence painted a troubling picture. Despite his criminal acquittal, a civil court found Blake liable for Bakley's wrongful death, ordering him to pay $30 million to her family, a judgment that financially devastated him. The case left a lasting stain on Blake's career, and he lived out his later years in relative obscurity, remembered as much for the controversy as for his acting achievements. Gig Young, a celebrated actor known for his charm and wit, achieved critical acclaim in 1969 with an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Despite his on-screen success, Young's personal life was plagued by instability, alcoholism, and tumultuous relationships. On October 19, 1978, just 3 weeks after marrying his 5th wife, Kim Schmidt, tragedy struck. The couple was found dead in their Manhattan apartment in what police determined to be a murder-suicide. Young had shot Schmidt before turning the gun on himself. The shocking incident stunned fans and colleagues, as there had been no public indications of trouble in their brief marriage. Young's struggles with mental health and alcohol had long been rumored, and he was reportedly under the care of a controversial psychiatrist known for unconventional treatment methods. Friends and family speculated that his ongoing battles with depression and addiction may have driven him to commit the heinous act. The murder-suicide marked a tragic end to what had once been a storied Hollywood career. Though remembered for his talent and contributions to cinema, the violent and senseless nature of his final act left a dark shadow over his legacy, turning his life into a cautionary tale of fame and personal demons. Chris Benoit, a celebrated professional wrestler known for his technical skill and intense performances, was once a revered figure in the wrestling world. With multiple championship titles and iconic matches, Benoit earned the admiration of fans and peers alike. However, his legacy was forever marred by a horrifying tragedy that unfolded in June 2007. Over the course of 3 days, Benoit murdered his wife, Nancy, and their 7-year-old son, Daniel, before taking his own life in their Georgia home. The shocking murder-suicide left fans and the wrestling industry in disbelief. Investigators revealed chilling details. Nancy had been bound and strangled. Daniel was suffocated in his sleep, and Benoit hanged himself in his weight room. The incident raised questions about Benoit's mental health and the potential effects of repeated head trauma. An examination of Benoit's brain post-mortem revealed severe damage consistent with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a condition linked to mood swings, aggression, and impaired judgment. The tragedy highlighted the dangers of unaddressed head injuries in contact sports and sparked changes in WWE policies, including a focus on wrestler wellness and concussion protocols. While Benoit's in-ring achievements remain undeniable, his name is now synonymous with one of wrestling's darkest chapters. Earl Hayes, an aspiring rapper with close connections to industry heavyweights like Floyd Mayweather Jr., was known for his talent and potential in the music world. However, his name became associated with tragedy in December 2014 when he committed a shocking murder-suicide that left his wife, actress and dancer Stephanie Mosley, dead. Mosley, known for her roles in Hit the Floor and appearances alongside stars like Beyoncé and Chris Brown, had been married to Hayes for several years. While they seemed like a happy couple to outsiders, reports of infidelity and marital discord painted a different picture. On December 8, 2014, Hayes fatally shot Mosley in their Los Angeles apartment before taking his own life. A chilling detail of the case was Floyd Mayweather's involvement. Reports surfaced that Hayes had been on a FaceTime call with Mayweather moments before the incident, expressing his anger over Mosley's alleged infidelity. The tragedy devastated friends and colleagues, with stars like Rihanna and Ashley Tisdale publicly mourning Mosley's death. Hayes' actions and the circumstances surrounding the murder-suicide sparked conversations about mental health, jealousy, and domestic violence, leaving a lasting impact on those who knew the couple and fans of Mosley's work. Bertrand Cantat, the lead singer of the French rock band Noir Désir, was a celebrated musician known for his poetic lyrics and electrifying stage presence. However, his career took a tragic and horrifying turn in 2003 when he fatally beat his girlfriend, actress Marie Trintignant, in a Vilnius, Lithuania, hotel room. The couple had a volatile relationship marked by jealousy and tension. On the night of the incident, an argument escalated and Cantat violently assaulted Trintignant, leaving her with severe head injuries. She fell into a coma and died days later from cerebral edema. Cantat's actions shocked fans and the public, as he had been a symbol of artistic integrity and activism. Cantat was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years in prison. However, his sentence was reduced, and he was released after serving just 4 years, sparking outrage among domestic violence activists and Trintignant's family. Despite his efforts to resume his music career after his release, Cantat faced widespread backlash and protests at his performances. The case remains one of France's most notorious examples of domestic violence, highlighting the need for stronger accountability and bringing attention to the systemic failures in protecting victims. Claudine Longuet, a French-American actress and singer once known for her roles in The Party and other 1960s films, became infamous for her involvement in the death of her boyfriend, Olympic skier Vladimir "Spider" Sabic. The tragic incident occurred on March 21, 1976, in Aspen, Colorado, where the couple lived together. According to Longuet, the shooting was accidental. She claimed Sabic was demonstrating how to handle a handgun when it discharged, fatally wounding him. However, prosecutors questioned her account, pointing to inconsistencies in the evidence. Sabic had been shot in the abdomen at close range, and the couple's relationship was reportedly strained. The case became a media sensation, with Longuet's celebrity status and the glamorous Aspen setting drawing intense public scrutiny. Procedural errors by the police, including the mishandling of evidence and failure to obtain proper warrants, weakened the prosecution's case. In the end, Longuet was convicted of negligent homicide, a lesser charge, and sentenced to a $250 fine and 30 days in jail, which she was allowed to serve on weekends. The lenient sentence sparked public outrage. Longuet withdrew from the public eye after the trial, marrying her defense attorney, Ronald Austin. Her legacy remains divided, remembered for her talent but overshadowed by the tragic and controversial case. Ray Caruth, a former NFL wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, saw his promising football career and life unravel in one of the most shocking crimes in sports history. In 1999, Caruth orchestrated the murder of his pregnant girlfriend, Cherika Adams, in a case that captivated and horrified the nation. On November 16, 1999, Adams was ambushed and shot multiple times while driving her car near Caruth's home in Charlotte, North Carolina. Despite her critical injuries, she managed to call 911, implicating Caruth by stating that he had blocked her car moments before the attack. She was rushed to the hospital, where doctors performed an emergency C-section to save her son, Chancellor Lee Adams. Tragically, Cherika died a month later due to her injuries. Chancellor survived but suffered permanent brain damage and cerebral palsy due to oxygen deprivation during the shooting. Caruth fled the state but was captured hiding in the trunk of a car. He was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and other charges in 2001 and sentenced to nearly 19 years in prison. After his release in 2018, Caruth issued a public apology to Cherika's mother, Sandra Adams, who had raised Chancellor with love and resilience. While Caruth remains free, his legacy is permanently marked by the heinous crime and the devastating consequences it brought to those involved. William S. Burroughs, a celebrated novelist and a key figure in the Beat generation, is remembered for his groundbreaking work, including Naked Lunch. However, his literary legacy is overshadowed by a tragic and shocking event in his personal life. In 1951, while living in Mexico City, Burroughs accidentally killed his wife, Joan Vollmer, during a drunken game of William Tell. The couple, known for their tumultuous relationship fueled by substance abuse, had been hosting a party when Burroughs allegedly suggested the game. Vollmer balanced a glass on her head and Burroughs, intending to shoot the glass off, missed, fatally striking her in the head. Burroughs was arrested and charged with culpable homicide. He initially claimed the gun had discharged accidentally but later admitted to aiming at the glass. Burroughs' influential family helped secure his release on bail, and he fled Mexico before his trial concluded, ultimately being convicted in absentia. The incident profoundly impacted Burroughs' life and work, inspiring him to channel his guilt and grief into his writing. He later stated that Vollmer's death was the catalyst for his literary career. Despite his literary achievements, the tragedy remains a dark and controversial chapter in his life, raising questions about accountability and the cost of genius. The list of incarcerated celebrities showcases a range of shocking, tragic stories that reveal the darker side of fame. From the devastating consequences of unchecked privilege to the human cost of poor choices, these cases serve as stark reminders that no one is immune to the consequences of their actions. They highlight the importance of accountability and the fragile line between success and scandal. As we reflect on these stories, let them inspire a call for empathy, justice, and systemic changes to address the root causes of such tragedies, ensuring a better path for future generations.